Welcome to the Interactive Body Balance Radio Show for health and fitness tips.
All right, team, here we go again. Welcome back, Interactive Body Balance. I'm your host, Mike Dasiak. Welcome to the show. We talk health, fitness, nutrition, functional medicine, personal development, anything to make you a better person, live longer, live happier, and that's what we do. Today's show is going to air on August 12th, 2023. Kind of in the middle of summer here. Lots of great stuff always going on. And again, I wanted to do the shows for people to give them the latest in the health and how to improve themselves. And the reason why we do that, and we're always candid and transparent, is because when you have your health, you can transpose that into business, relationships. We work with professional athletes. They do that. We work with young athletes. We work with everybody to get better. And that's why you do it, to be the top 1% or 0.001% of your group. And I mentioned last podcast, I think it was a week or so ago, maybe 5 days, that we're really focusing now on improving, right? Really focusing on driving that excellence in business and in life and in athletics. That's what we're going to focus on for the next little while, and as far as I can see. So today's show is going to be on some mechanisms and some things you can do to improve your health markers. But what happens if you don't know your health markers and you don't know what's going on? As I've said before, we've talked about how you can get tested for your gut. I get that question every single week, many times a week. We've talked about how you can check your hormones. There's ways to do that too with the Dutch panel and various other ways. We can test everything. We can test diseases. You can test to see if you got Lyme, viruses, parasites. We can check all of that stuff. More basic panel that you can do at home today to check blood markers, because I get this question a lot. I got it this week again for either talking about food intolerances, and people are like, Mike, can you run this MRT test and food intolerances and all that? And we can, of course we can. They can write a requisition, go to your doctor and get a blood panel done. That's no problem. But many people don't have a doctor, especially in Canada, and they don't want to go through the whole process of getting all this blood drawn, go to the lab, potentially where people are also ill around, because you are in a lab, you're in doctor's offices, hospitals, clinics, whatever you want to call it. So they don't want to do that. So they're looking at ways to do blood testing at home. And of course, I'm always looking at labs. I talk to labs on a weekly basis, ones that ship to Canada, ones that don't, ones that ship because we have patients overseas in Europe and in Australia and in Korea, South Korea. So we have a lot of that. So there's one, there's many, but we have one called, so it's SI, I'm going to say it, but it's, SIPHOX Health. So Xifox Health. I used it, ran the panel, as I always do, folks. I always run them on myself first before I even recommend them to anybody else. Looked at the data, looked at the efficacy. I have my blood markers done by a conventional lab, as I always do, and I compared them. Are they similar? What are they like? What are the markers like? Unbelievably accurate. And so I want to share this lab with you guys, and then I don't just share a lab with you, then I give you ways to improve. Okay, so this lab that I talk about here, I always say data matters. As many of you know, I work for a very large IT company as well too, where we do tons of great work with data and AI, artificial intelligence, and it's just amazing. Predictive analysis. It's great. I love data. So to help people, I need to see data, because anecdotally or symptomatically, those matter. Of course they matter. Symptoms matter, I know, but I want to see what's under the covers, right? Like if your car is not working properly, you don't want to just guess that it's the transmission or the engine or it's the valve or whatever it may be. You want to see what's wrong with it so you can diagnose it or look at it and then improve that area. Fix it or improve it. Okay? That's why I love data. I always have. Show me the data. And I study data. I study articles. I study meta-analysis. I just love data, and it's important. So this lab here, which is accurate, or I wouldn't even be mentioning it, it looks at so many different markers. I said over 24, and it's always growing. That's why I say 24. It was 17, a few months ago, 24, and expanding, right? So it looks at markers like CRP, C-reactive protein, measures of inflammation in the body. Gives you stuff on hemoglobin A1C. That is a measurement of your blood sugar over 3 months. Where are you at? I'm looking at mine right now, folks. You need to know what your blood sugar level is like over 3 months. You can see that. Homocysteine. another measure of inflammation. Again, I can go real deep on each one of these, but due to a 10 and 15 minute podcast, I don't want to do that. Insulin levels, right? Everyone knows about insulin. We talk about insulin. Regulating blood glucose levels, right? Think about it that way. And then you need to know it's really key marker. It's key for like prediabetes, metabolic syndrome, etc. You got to know your insulin levels, folks. We already talked about blood sugar. Insulin, it normalizes, like you said, takes the blood sugar, imports into cells. You get all the point. Ferritin, storage form of iron. Triglycerides, HDL ratios. Looks at vitamin D levels. Vitamin D. And then, here we go. This is important. I'm going to get into this here. Vitamin D. Many of you can go online and look at me. I like to get out in the sun in the summertime. I don't in the wintertime because I live outside of Toronto, Canada. So I'm not out as much. But for the 3, 4, 5 months I'm in summer, I get outside as much as I can to get a nice base of sun. Right? And again, you can go online, look it up. This is what we love to do. However, looking at my vitamin D levels, right? I was surprisingly low. I mean, I'm in range, but I'm lower than I thought I would be. I thought I'd be more like 70 or 80. It's crazy, that you can be so low. And then I thought, okay, but I know my genetics, and do I process vitamin D well? So I have my genetic markers, and some people do not process and absorb vitamin D well. So that could be one thing. And then I also looked at, am I taking any vitamin D supplementation? That's important. D3, K2, I've talked about this for over a decade. And I wasn't for the last 6 months because we're in Canada, I'm outside. So my vitamin D could have been low because of not supplementing well, not eating the appropriate foods that have vitamin D, and I've done dozens of podcasts on that, so we won't even go there. Or is it because my cortisol was a little high? My LDL was a little high, genetically, right? It's still in range, but a little high. Because they all are intrinsically linked, folks. Vitamin D levels, cholesterol levels, cortisol levels, and some go up, some go down. You can look it up. The data points to it all. So if you've got high cortisol, right, you can also expect to have potentially low vitamin D levels. Vitamin D is also linked, the receptors and the genetic markers, and I could talk about this for days because I've done it before. Very similar to LDL cholesterol, right? All kind of in the same area. So when I'm looking, I'm thinking, okay, why am I a little lower in vitamin D? Again, still within range, but lower. Why am I higher in LDL cholesterol? And why am I higher in cortisol, right? Again, still within range, but I look at where I'm at in the range. All linked. So looking at my own data and clients' data, I can put together a plan to improve that. And we'll talk about that at the end of the show. Looks at, again, I just talked about cortisol, looks at APOA1, okay, and APOB, right? APOB, and again, I'm going to talk about this. Some people will say these are incredible markers of health. APOA, as we already said, it's a protein that carries HDL, considered very important for good cholesterol, right? You can get that from a regular doctor, but it's very important to look at. Then we go into APOE-B. Some people say it is a key marker, even more important than cholesterol. It is a protein carrier for LDL, transports the bad cholesterol, talking about blockages in arteries, etc. Then, you ever want to get into science on this, I'll gladly give it to you. Look at those numbers, APOE-B, APOA1, and APOB, APOA1. Again, these are proteins that carry cholesterol around. I'm looking at my numbers right now, so I'm flipping back and forth. When I'm looking at my data points, I'm thinking, okay, I'm in range. Both of those are really good. But I got concerns in other places. Now, DHEA. Now we're getting into hormones. DHEA, I'm in range, but it could be higher. This is a precursor, as you know. I've talked about this in the Dutch panel, right, to other hormones like testosterone, estrogens, etc. Now I'm looking at my testosterone. Lower than I thought it would be. Again, we'll go back to that there. We'll go back to testosterone. We'll go back to how it's linked to vitamin D, how it's linked to cortisol, as we said before. All these are linked together. This is important to understand, right? When you're looking at your hormones, and I know this is vitamin D. Vitamin D is a vitamin. It's actually, if you look at it, it's actually a hormone. But I don't care if it's a hormone or a vitamin. You can look at it. It's a hormone. But they're all linked together, right? The testosterone has a linkages to vitamin D, has a linkages to cortisol. I know I already said this too when talking about even other markers like cholesterol and all that other good stuff. But here's my point. If I got low testosterone, or again, in range, but lower, It's not around 700 or 800 where I thought it would be, right? Why is that? Is it because of low vitamin D? Is it because of high cortisol? Sorry. What are the reasons why? These are important to really understand. So if you can tie them all together and have a practitioner that can do that, then you can start tackling. This lab also takes a look at, as I already said, HDL, LDL, that's fine. Thyroid, TSH. What's your thyroid functioning like? Picks that up. Amazing other stuff here. I'm looking at all these ratios, which you guys would love. Flipping through free testosterone, like I said, testosterone, cortisol. Of course, estradiol, that's all good, especially for the ladies. It's estrogen, luteinizing hormone, sex hormone binding globulin, SHBH. It shows you that. Prolactin. And I've done consultations with people on prolactin. Hormone makes, it's part, the brain makes it from the pituitary. I always talk about that, the HPA axis, right? Hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal axis, HPAA. And that's, that's where it comes from as well, too. And some people, it helps women produce milk after they have a baby. Men have prolactin, too. It plays a role in their health. Many reasons why I could tell you. Again, looking at this number helps me with people's hormones, helps me talk about, milk production, menstrual irregularities, issues maybe getting pregnant. Prolactin's a very good marker. This lab shows that too, folks. Very good. Again, FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, another hormone. Prostate-specific antigen. Ooh, I know you guys like this one. The prostate, especially the men, obviously. But the men are like, oh, what's my prostate like? What's the numbers looking like? Very, very important. So it's good to understand that too. Albumin. So another one that's really good and you can take a look at. It's a type of protein your body makes in the liver. It's common proteins in your blood. Serves various critical functions. Keeps fluid from leaking out of the blood vessels. Carries substances throughout the body, through the bloodstream. Repair tissues, folks. Very important albumin levels, sorry. Love it. So this lab has so many key markers, but why am I sharing this with you guys? Because when you know your markers, you can get better. And then what would a podcast be without letting you guys know about markers other than, well, Mike, what can we do about it? Because that's what I always say, people pay you, people come to you to give them solutions. They pay for solutions. Data's good. Knowledge is good. I love this stuff. I know you, it's funny. And a lot of people listen to this. They're like, oh, it's great. Just tell me how to get better. Like, say, I just take it for granted. I think everybody loves this stuff. They love labs. They love data points. I get it. Many don't. Trust me, my wife doesn't. Many people I interact with just don't. They just want to get better. All right. So some good things here, as you can imagine. And again, there's many ways because I've talked about ways. I'm just going to give you a couple here. I'll give you the cap. Always talk to your medical doctor first, your GP. I'm not your doctor. I'm a person who sees clients. I look at data and labs all day long. I've helped hundreds of people. You can imagine, maybe thousands. It's got to be thousands, but I'm just saying hundreds. So we do this stuff all day long. Speak with them first if you're on stuff. But if you're looking at natural ways, I've talked about raising testosterone before. Other ways of doing it is supplement with vitamin D3, K2. Fish oils are great. Omega-3s are really good. Zinc, magnesium, all very good supplements. And all these are found in food too. Of course, food and supplements are great for raising testosterone. I could do a whole show on this. I actually have on raising testosterone. Red light therapy is good with it, right? There's lifting heavy weights is good for raising testosterone. Getting good sleep. But I know you guys on this call and girls, I say guys and interchangeably, guys and girls, it's you want supplements and food. Get good food, as we said, or good supplements that can do that. Oh, okay, but what about lowering LDL? I get this question a lot too. Big one. Cholesterol, right? Niacin. Non-flushing niacin, preferably, if you don't want to flush or have that genetic marker. Great for it. Psyllium. Fish oil. Protease and lipase enzymes. So enzymatic reactions in the body, and enzymes are great. Folks, I could do this forever, but I'm just giving you 4 there. Niacin, psyllium, fish oil, protease, lipase. That's been shown. You can look it up. Just Google those if you want and look at the PubMed articles. They've been shown to help with LDL cholesterol. And that's what you want because a lot of people have high cholesterol. I could do this for every single lab marker. I'm already at 15 minutes, so I won't. I hope you guys enjoy the data. I hope you guys enjoy learning about new labs that you can even do in your own home. As I said, these labs, this lab here, this is just one of hundreds I have. you can do in your own home with a finger prick. You literally have a finger prick and you send it off. It separates the blood from the serum. Very good company. I like them. They're good. The data is accurate. That's why I'm talking about it. It's accurate because I've ran it against the numbers that I get from the lab. And it is unbelievably, if not perfectly close, like right on accurate. So obviously it changes day to day and hour to hour, but you get the point. Your LDL, if it's high one day, it's not going to be noticeably lower 3 days later. So it takes 3 months, 4 months to lower that with all these tips and tricks we gave you. Same thing with vitamin D levels, right? It takes some time, or any level, right? It takes some time to work on it to improve it. So you can test every 3 months, 6 months, a year. I don't care when you test. Do it when you want. We give you those tips, and then we give you actionable items to improve, as we just did with those two things, just on LDL, lowering LDL and raising testosterone. Raising HDL would be good too, but raising testosterone. I could tell you how to balance estrogen. We can tell you how to lower your cortisol or increase your cortisol. We do that all the time. You guys get the point. You can tell I'm passionate about this. If you enjoy the show, share it with your friends and family. That's all I can say. We're not taking on any new clients. We're way too busy. But I will give this information to people free, right? I can't meet with people now even to give some 15 or 30 minutes. We used to do that. But I can send an email or have someone on the team send an email or just refer them to this podcast. The amount of people that don't even know this podcast exists or that we've written 2 books, it's incredible. I tell you, why do I know? It's because I get the messages. Facebook, text, phone, call the phone, find out from the website. And I'm like, have you been to the Instagram page? Have you been to YouTube? Have you, even picked up the free book on the website, which is MikeDaciuk.com, MikeDaciuk.com, interactivebodybalance.com. Those are our domains. Go over. It's free. There's free stuff over there. It's all free. There's no charge to go on the website. Some people charge you, right? So go over there and look it up. They don't even know it exists. The books, I said we give away for, clients that we've had in the past. We give the books away, the hardcover, because those cost money. Right? We give them away. It's the same thing. Folks, a lot of people don't understand this stuff exists. We do this for everybody so they can actually get better. Take it and see if they can get better. And, I've already said the stuff. We've done this with so many people. Mindset matters. Work ethic matters. And I'll get to that here. What do I tell them? Again, the email is info@MikeDaciuk.com. And let's get into what I say here. And I already talked about social media, Instagram, YouTube, Mike Daciuk on Instagram or Facebook. Come on over. Always here to help, as people will see and know. But what do I tell my kids every day? We have a lot of kids in our house, and we just train. I just train with my 8-year-old. He's a hockey player. We just did our workout already early this morning. We're at the horses at 7 a.m. doing the horses. We own horses, but we're doing some other stuff today with the horses. Number one, you got to work hard. It is Saturday. We've been up since 6:45. I expect play and rest, but you got to work hard in life. Number 2, you got to add value. As I've said for hundreds of shows, you've got a skill set, a unique God-given ability. Add it to the world. The world needs you. The world needs your gifts. Number 3, help other people. Give of your time. Volunteer. Give any money where you can. So to charity. Whatever you can do. Just help other people. It's a good thing. Number 4, smile and have some fun. So hopefully the rest of today, I know we got a lot of stuff to do that's fun. We're going to have some fun. We are going to go out and smile and have a great time. Because what's this world about if you're always working and not playing? Right? That's the way I look at it. All right. Live with passion, live with purpose, live with intent. Go out and make a difference in somebody's lives. I hope you enjoyed this show. We'll talk to you all real soon. Bye for now.